Hello and you're all very welcome to Along the Line. Coming up in the show, we'll be looking back on the All-Ireland Junior Final as Mullinehone's fairy tale story came to an end, as they were defeated by St Jude's. And as the National League starts this weekend, we'll be looking ahead to the Division 2 clash as Tipperary travel to Fitzgerald Stadium to take on Kerry. We'll be getting the views from inside both camps with Declan Quill and Anna Galvin joining us from the Kingdom, while Peter Creedon, Maria Curley and Elaine Kelly will be giving us the thoughts from inside the Tipp setup. Joined once again by Darla Morrissey. Well, Darla, how are you?
Not too bad, Tomás. How are you?
Not so bad now. So what's the first thing? Fairy tale ended below bottom gas on Saturday.
Yeah, unfortunately, it just wasn't their day. But what a year Mullinehone had, like, you know, in the space of just a couple of months, winning Junior A, winning a Munster final, and then being All-Ireland finalists, like, it's a savage achievement for all the girls and the management. So, look, I know they're probably a bit disappointed, but they have a savage amount to be proud of what they've achieved so far.
Yeah, because they got off to a super start. They'd 1-3 on the board in the space of a few minutes, and they looked like they were going to make it kind of same kind of start as the Munster final. But Jules dropped two players back in front of Lorraine and Ava and cut off them channels.
Yeah, you know, I think after St Jude seeing what Mullinehone done straight after the throw up, they didn't want that to be happening again, so they dropped back the two girls. And I think just from there on, you know, they were just defending Mullinehone in numbers, like, and it was just such a physical game, like, you know, it was so, like, the tackles that were going in from both sides, you know, they were real good hard tackles, like, and they were just unlucky with some of their shots that they took off, but look, still it was some achievement to get to an All-Ireland final. Yeah,
and I suppose you're no longer the last team to beat Mullinehone in the championship game.
No. Oh, stop. No, we can't use that one against them now anymore.
Yeah, but it's been a fantastic year for them all the same.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and looking to Killarney now Sunday with the start of the leagues, no management in place for Tipp.
Yeah, a great management team in with them now. They're doing a lot of work with the girls so far. The girls are really making an effort at trainings and everything. So I think if the girls stay going the way they're going, they could have a good year this year.
Yeah, and of course the three Mullinehone girls are going to be coming back. I suppose they're going to be coming in with confidence as well. They're going to be a huge addition.
Yeah, you know, I even think the girls, like, they're already on the panel now. We'll see these girls coming in after what they've achieved, and, you know, they'll be really, really going to, like, you know, focused in on the game and really getting off to a good start, hopefully, like, and the three girls are bringing in a lot of experience now under their belt, like, with them. So look, it'll be definitely a good run out for them.
Yeah, and Anna Carey has joined the panel there during the week as well. Big physical player there from Commercials. Like, she's going to be a huge addition as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it's great to see her back in. She's involved in there last year as well, and yeah, like as you said, a very, very strong girl. So look, I think throughout the team they have had great physical. Like, look, there's a lot of tall girls there and strong girls, experience. There's a lot of experience there. So I think they'll be well able to give Kerry a good run.
Yeah, it's like Kerry, I suppose after 2 years there in Division 2 where they were trying to get out of it, they're going to set their stall out now straight away, and going to be nothing soft down there on Sunday.
No, look, and when you're coming up against Kerry, like, they always seem to be, like, taller, bigger, stronger than you. Like, I remember playing myself underage, and, you know, they're just a different build down there. But yeah, they're going all gun blazing, no doubt. Obviously playing at home for themselves. They'll be mad to get a first win under their belts at home. So I think it'll be a very physical and strong game.
Yeah, well, we met up with the Kerry and Tipp panels there during the week. We got the views ahead of the game. This is what they had said. We start with Declan Quill, the Kerry joint manager. Well, joining us now to get the view from the Kingdom is Kerry joint manager Declan Quill. Declan, how are things?
Hi, Tomás. Very good, yeah. All good here in the Kingdom so far now this season.
Yeah, just talking to Peter Creedon, I kind of said the same thing to him. No season, no hope. I suppose you probably didn't do yourselves justice in the league final last year, so you'd be looking to hit the ground running this year.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I suppose over the last 2 seasons, since myself and Dara took over, we've done quite well in the league. I suppose the first season we had our first 5 games won before, unfortunately, the whole thing was stopped due to COVID. And then last season we won our first 3 group games, and we beat Meath in the first round, I suppose, above in Park Talton. And went on, had an epic semi-final with Monaghan that went to free kicks at the end. And unfortunately, we didn't do ourselves justice side in Croke Park, really. For our girls, it was a lot of them. It was their first time playing in Croke Park. I think Meath had just a little bit more experience on the day of maybe the big field and what was expected of them into playing inside in Croke Park. And I think maybe our girls were a little bit overawed by the whole thing. But yeah, we'd be very disappointed with the league final last year. We equipped ourselves quite well in the championship afterwards, I suppose, in the so-called group that we were in. We were very unlucky probably in the 2 games, but look, we're really looking forward to this season ahead. A lot of new faces in the panel this year, and training's been going quite well so far. So yeah, we're delighted and can't wait to get going now in next week.
Yeah, and would the whole Croke Park experience have got to them maybe last year for that league final?
I think so, yeah. I think maybe for myself and the management as well, point of view, I don't think maybe we handled the whole thing quite as well as we should have either. I think maybe our preparation on the day and leading up to the game, it wasn't great. When you look back over it, you're kind of going, Jeannie, we shouldn't have done that. We shouldn't have done this. I think, some of the girls, when they got into Croke Park for the first time and you saw them taking out their phones and taking photographs of them on the field and stuff like that, when you think back on it, you kind of cringe a bit and say, oh, Jeannie Mac, we shouldn't have let that happen either. But look, that's all just part of the learning curve, really. And, look, we can't go back in time. We can only drive on now and see what happens for this season coming.
Yeah, and like Fitzgerald Stadium is going to be a huge advantage to Kerry, because I know that you play a lot of games there, a lot of club games, and like talking to the Tipp girls, they're actually buzzing to get in there. And I know talking to some of the Arlo girls, they loved playing there in the Munster Championship last year.
Yeah, definitely. It's a fantastic ground. Like, it's one of the best in Ireland. No matter what time of year you play in it. Middle of the summer, fierce, fast ground. Usually there for a Munster final or something like that. The crowd is absolutely electric, and Killarney comes alive for a Munster final. But even this time of year and the league starting on the 13th, we'll be in there playing Tipp. The ground will be quite good. There should be a nice crowd coming in there to see, because I think ladies football is after growing in popularity over the last couple of years. So we're hoping to have a good crowd in there watching the girls playing. And anytime you get into Fitzgerald Stadium, and we have been very lucky to get in there over the last couple of years. And also we played a good few of our games in Austin Park when we've been at home as well. So we've shared top county grounds in Kerry. And it's been a fantastic experience for the girls, and they really love playing there. It's a huge advantage, and really, really great to see, that we're not inside in the bog of a pitch somewhere in the arse end of Kerry, but we're right in the middle of it, and right probably the best field in Kerry for our first opening league game.
Yeah, it would have been a pity to take us down to Catlin or somewhere we'd be struggling to get reception or something.
Well, we did think about it. Down to Valencia Island, I think they're not playing much football down in Valencia at the moment, so we could have brought you all the way down there. But we said we'd be nice to you and get you into Killarney anyway. Yeah,
well, I'm just hoping that we've a lot more better luck than what the men have had down there through the years. As I said to you off camera, we've often gone down and come home with the tail between our legs.
Yeah, well, look, I think home advantage is a huge thing in the league. Anyway, we have to travel to Clare the week after. Probably looking at playing in Doonbeg that weekend, and that's a place that the Clare girls are going to know inside out. I suppose we have Laois the week after, and we're looking at playing that again in Killarney. So we'll be looking at trying to get an advantage there on the Laois girls that have to travel down and play in Killarney, maybe that they haven't done so before.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people would say take it game by game, but you obviously have targets out for the year as well.
Yeah, we do. I suppose, look, as a management, we would be very disappointed to not having reached Division 1 yet. We were in a role the first year, like I said, until everything was stopped up, and we were very disappointed with the way that happened. The men ended up finishing off their league campaigns, and they just abandoned the National League for the ladies. Right in the middle of it, really, and it was really, really disappointing. There was teams going around looking for challenge games, leading up to championship, when ideally we could have played the last 2 league games, and if they wanted to play a final or whatever, fine, but they should have finished off the league, but they didn't anyway, and that's history. But last year we were going quite well again, and we, like I said to you, we were very disappointed with our performance in the final. But I suppose it is game by game, and I know it's an old cliche, but we really look forward to getting out of our group was our first target. Get to a semi-final and take it from there, and we'd be really hopeful that we could get back to Croke Park this year and get into a league final. But it is a few steps down the road. Our panel has changed quite a bit since last year, and I think I don't know how the new girls that we have in the panel this year are going to fit in and so on. So because you won't know until you get a couple of competitive games under your belt. And look, we would be hoping to make a league final, but we know that it's not going to be an easy thing to achieve. And but that's probably one of our goals for the year, definitely, Tomás. Yeah.
Yeah, because when I came on to championship, you obviously ended up in a relegation semi-final against Tipp, but looking at your performances against Donegal and Galway, you must have felt very unlucky not to be preparing for an All-Ireland quarter-final rather than a relegation semi-final.
Yeah, I think, look, the first night above in Ennis, we performed very well for a lot of the game. The first 15 minutes, about 8.5, we were poor. I'd say we must have turned it about 10 or 15 times alone in the second half, and a lot of came the first 15 minutes of the second half where we just fed ball into our forwards and it was coming out as fast. Louise got a great goal towards the end to put it to the minimum between the teams, but there just wasn't enough time left on the clock. I suppose we had a break week in between, and then we played Donegal after, knowing that it was winner take all, really, that if we won, that we were going to go through. And unfortunately, look, they got 2 goals maybe that we felt maybe from the sideline that they were a little bit harsh on us. I think Geraldine McLaughlin gave an absolute outstanding display on the same day, though. And look, we came close, but we didn't get close enough. We didn't take our chance, I suppose, over the 2 games. We ended up playing Tipp in the semi-final of the relegation. I just don't think Tipp I just think they never got going last year. I think it was a very difficult year for them. You get those years. I felt ourselves at times last year, that we were kind of pulling and dragging a small bit, and the whole COVID preparation, all that. It was quite difficult on managements and teams last year. And look, we were just very happy to get through it down in Mallow that day and just to put it to bed. And Tipp got through the following game against Tyrone, and just retained their senior status, and that was fantastic as well. But we just don't know. I suppose you don't know until the first competitive game comes around how you're going to react and how your season's going to go. And I suppose from both sides, Peter Creedon will be looking to get a great start, but we'd also be looking for the same thing from our girls and get us on a good start and the right road for the season ahead.
Yeah, because when you look back at that match in Mallow, Tipp dominated possession for the opening 10 minutes. They only came away with a point. They probably could have had 1-4, 1-5. Ye dominated for the next 10 to 12 minutes. Ye came away with 1-6. All of a shot was 1-6 to a point. It probably could have been 3-7 to a point. And then coming up to half time, Niamh Hayes had a great goal chance and stopped. Chance to put 3 points in it. Went straight down the field, and Louise got a goal, and all of a shot there was 9 points in it. So could have been a huge difference on that day if that goal had to go in just before half time instead of going up the other end of the field.
Yeah, definitely. And that was my lasting thoughts of that game was that we got through the first 10 minutes without conceding a rake of scores, because we were on the ropes for a while. I have to admit, myself and Dara were looking at each other on the sideline going, is this going to be another one of those days that we're just going to be grinding our teeth for the whole game? But yeah, we got a couple of scores. I think Hannah O'Donoghue may have got a goal, and Louise. We put real savage pressure on the Tipp kick out on the day. Got a few extra scores, and I suppose finished off. I suppose that day we were kind of comfortable, I suppose, towards the end. But yeah, look, Tipp did have us under pressure for a while. they had one or two very good goal chances that they maybe squandered themselves and would have been disappointed with. But yeah, look, we got out of it, and we were delighted just to get out of Mallow that day and just have our senior status, safe and the season ending on a bit of a high, I suppose.
Yeah, just talking about the kickouts there, is that something you target? We've seen Meath, the way Meath tend to attack the opposition kickouts. We've seen you doing it yourselves last year, and once you get a team boxed in, it's very hard for the opposition to get out. So, and I suppose it's a case of making hay when the sun shines.
Yeah, I suppose it's we all know the importance of the kick out in ladies football. It is absolutely huge. You see one or two going wrong and they end up in goals, in the back of the net, and that the team that gets that goal or gets a turnover from the kick out have huge momentum. So yeah, look, it is something we do target, but I suppose this year we're looking at modifying a small bit of our tactics, and definitely from our kick out and from the opposition kick out, we'll be trying a few new things throughout the league and just seeing how they work with the new team that we have coming this year.
Yeah, because it's what them kickouts. It's probably high risk, high rewards. Pushing up in them kickouts. Like if you were to lose the kickouts, you could be isolated maybe in your half back line or full back line, but it's definitely worth the risk when they're paying off.
Yeah, look, I suppose, when you're looking at it tactically, if you even look at the All-Ireland final, the goal that Meath got from the turnover from the kick-out, was a huge momentum swing on that. And there is big momentum swings to be got out of turning over a kick-out, and because you're usually maybe so close to goal when it does happen, and it usually ends in a score. More often than not, it might end in a goal. So it is a huge momentum swing in games, but you have to be very careful. You have to balance that with your defence, and that you're not leaving yourself open at the defence either. So, there's times in games where you just have to sit tight and maybe not challenge any kickouts, and there's times in games where you have to push up and try to force home an advantage. So, it's very much about how the game is going as well. And look, as things go through the league, we'll be trying different things on that and from both sides.
Yeah, just looking at Tipp, I suppose the easy thing to say, because we hear a lot of journalists saying that they've no Ashley Maloney, she's gone for the year, and obviously they've no Ashley McCarthy or Orla Dwyer there in Australia, but you obviously have your homework done on plenty of the rest of the panel, and there are plenty of new girls in there as well.
Yeah, it's true. Look, I suppose that if you look back when we had the Kerry minor ladies as well a couple of years ago, myself and Dara and management team that are with us at the moment, we trained the minors for a year that we came up against Tipp as well in the Munster Championship. So we know quite a lot about like Caitlin Kennedy, and her sister Anna Rose wouldn't have been minor, but we would have watched her playing in the colleges into provincial and things like that. So we know that with the Harlow girls, I suppose, and there's plenty of other girls there that are quite good, footballers that we won't be taking anything for granted. It's an awful pity that Ashley Maloney isn't playing. I suppose for the girl herself, it's a devastating blow to miss maybe nearly 2 full seasons now. We know how hard it is. We recruited ourselves last year, made an awful impact onto our team, the girls that we lost, but we know how hard the road is back from those, and I suppose when it takes 2 years to come back, it's an awful blow for her. So look, we're wishing her the best of luck, with her recovery, and hopefully for the good of ladies football, she'll be back and full fitness again next year. But look, sometimes when you lose players, it galvanises the others, and they row in a bit stronger together because they know they can't fall back on maybe the big name players in their panels. So we know that there's plenty of good footballers in Tipp, and we won't be taking them for granted one bit when they come to Killarney for the first game of the season.
Yeah, just mentioning Caitlin Kennedy there, she's still only 20 years of age, but she's just a beast of a girl, and playing unbelievable with her college as well. She probably has the potential in the next couple of years to be one of the best footballers in the country.
Yeah, definitely. I would go along with that, and I suppose she was a girl we would have targeted at minor level to, we would have had one of our best players on her because her reputation preceded her. Watching her playing in those interprovincials with Munster, and watching Anna Rose playing as well, and I suppose Anna Rose had a bad injury since then, and she's coming back from that. But the two of them have massive potential. They're big, strong girls. They've great football in them. They've great engines, and it's those two plus others that'll be driving Tipperary on and be driving them on for the year, I suppose, while the girls are in Australia and until they come back and until Aisling Maloney, I suppose, sorts herself out and gets back playing as well. It's the likes of those you're going to be falling back on and hoping that they drive on. I'm sure Peter will be looking at them to bring the leadership into the group and to drive it on through the league. Yeah,
and you've the two captains there as well, Maria Curley and your own Anna Galvin, two very good friends, two college mates. No doubt they could end up marking each other at some stage.
Yeah, well, Maria's on the road a good bit as well, and herself and Anna always have the chats afterwards. And when I was new to ladies football, we were playing Tipp and anything, Anna would always go chatting with Maria and said, "Who's that, Anna?" And she, "Oh, that's Maria. You'd have to know her. She's a famous footballer from Tipp, and she's she played a long time." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm just getting into all this now, so I get to know these girls." But she's she'd be holding on probably the full back spot maybe for Tipperary. Again, very experienced defender, and again, she's captain for a reason because she's a fantastic leader for Tipp as well, and has been over the last number of years. Has played very, very well in college football and things like that as well. So yeah, we'll be looking at her, and maybe we'll have to distract her by putting Anna in the top for a while, and maybe Anna keep her busy with a bit of kind maybe for a couple of number 8 in the game.
And the thing about Maria is, as you said, she's on the road a long time, but she's still only 24, which is kind of hard to believe.
Well, I think that happens a lot in ladies football too, Tomás. That I think some girls start so young. If you look at Louise Niver-Hurtig, she's 15 years playing with Kerry. She's still only 31 years of age. And I know you might think that's old, but she started playing with Kerry when she was 16 years of age. So that does happen a bit. I suppose one of our girls, Hannah O'Donoghue, who was fairly young, 16 years of age, she made her debut for Kerry as well. So it's something that doesn't happen a lot in men's football, and is getting more and more rare in men's football that the younger guys are making it onto panels when they're 18, maybe, unless you're absolutely exceptional. But it is happening still a good bit in ladies football, and you see 17, 18-year-olds and they're on the road 5 or 6 years. They're still only 24, 25, but they're nearly household names in the county team at that stage.
Yeah, and so they're gathering that experience the whole time, and it helps the younger ones have 16 and 17 when they come onto panels.
Yeah, definitely. Look, we've named Anna Galvin as our captain, and she's a fantastic leader. She was our captain 2 years ago, and she was absolutely an exceptional leader for us, and a great link between the management and the players. But we've also named Louise Niver-Hurtig as our vice captain, and I've never seen anybody so good to girls that are come into a panel as Louise. She's just, any new girl that comes in, or and we have a good shot of new girls on the panel this year. Louise just puts the hand around them, and she's very welcoming to them into the group, and she picks up after them even after training. She brings home their training tops and washes them. Anyone who leaves stuff behind them, and Louise is she's just fantastic like that, and for a girl who's done so much in the game and would be recognised for being one of the best forwards ever to play in ladies football, Louise could be going around with a big head in her and expected these girls to be looking up to her and kind of admiring her. But Louise is just so normal with them, and she's just very caring about them, and making sure they integrate into the group. And herself and Anna, we have other girls that are brilliant at putting hands around the new girls that are coming in, and just looking after them, making them feel welcome, making them feel part of it. Because coming into a county panel, it is quite daunting. Some girls are just out of minor level that we have this year. Some girls maybe are in early 20s that haven't played with Kerry yet. So it is quite daunting when you come into this high level environment, and it's great that someone like Louise and Anna, Aisling O'Connell, and those kind of girls put their hands around them and look after them. And I think Louise is exceptional at that, especially.
Yeah, do you think, you're just saying about how level-headed she is, do you think that's one of the attractions of ladies football? You see the top name stars, like you're mentioning Louise there, the likes of Maria Curley, Aisling Maloney and Tipp, Vicky Walsh, we could stay going on, but they're so down to earth, and the young girls admiring them, but the things, and that they make so much time for players as well, and young girls. and to give them a boost coming on as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think really realistically, a lot of the majority of the girls that are playing inter-county football, there's no airs and graces about them. There's no big, huge egos around the place. They're all seem to be very level-headed. I met a few of the Dublin girls last year at the National League launch, and you think these girls are walking around with 3 and 4 medals, and you think that they'd be kind of high in money about it, but they're so down to earth. Great, just have a chat with them, and met Ashley Maloney the same thing, chatting away to her, and different girls from around the country, from Antrim, Limerick, places like that, and all have great attitudes towards the game, and there's no egos there. I think as an organisation, I think we need to get the girls out there more. I think the young girls on the street that are starting to play the game need to see these girls a lot more. Not only the Ashling Maloneys or the Carla Rose and these girls, but I wonder if Anna Galvin walked down the street, really, like would know she was, and for me, she's a Kerry captain. It's a huge honour in my book, for her to be Kerry captain. But like, I don't think we promote these girls enough and put them out there and say, look, girls, the young girls who are coming up to playing want to be a Kerry star. Let's be like Anna Galvin, or be like Louise Niver Hurtig, or be like Lorraine Scanlon, or places like people like that. And we have the poster girls like the Ashley Maloney's and Carla Rose that have featured in ads on television and everything. But I think it's really important that how many people would know Anna Rose Kennedy outside of the Tipperary environment. How many people would know Caitlin Kennedy outside of her own college group or her own county environment. I think the county boards could do an awful lot more of just pushing the girls out in front and maybe promoting them a little bit more, and just for the youth to see that, Jeannie Mac, I think this is fantastic, and I think when you have a game coming to Fitzgerald Stadium and you have superstars, in my opinion, like Caitlin Kennedy and Maria Curley coming down to play, and you have the likes of Louise Niver Hurtig playing, and Anna Galvins and these girls, and there should be a massive promotion campaign behind this, and throwing out the ads out there on the radio and things like that Kerry are playing Tipp, and come and meet the girls afterwards. And something we set and Dara tried to do there when we came in first, that when we were warming down the field, that we'd asked the supporters to come down onto the field, and the young girls that were in the crowd come down onto the field, warm down with to come to meet them and get autographs. And I just think it's important, to see that these girls they're available to chat with the young girls and give their autograph and shake hands with them after matches and things like that. I think that's really, really important. I think sometimes the men walk off the field and people like don't go near them because they think, oh, these guys are untouchable. They're not meant to come near any of the supporters and all that. There's kind of this kind of barrier between them and the supporters at times. I think the girls should be promoted as a lot more open, and a lot more that come down and meet the girls, ask them for their autograph, come onto the field and meet them afterwards, and I think the girls will be absolutely delighted for that.
Yeah, because like as you're saying there with that, I actually had 2 nieces with me in Mallow last year at the game, and we were down on the sideline talking to a couple of girls after us. Like one was 14 and the other was 6. And the 14-year-old actually said it to me. She says it's so different from being at a hurling match. She says, Tipper, after getting a good beating, and do you think some of the hurlers would have been talking to us if they got beaten like that? And I actually couldn't believe what she was saying. I probably never noticed this before then, but my 6-year-old niece went home, and the first thing she wanted from her mother was for her to go down and join the local club, just by going to a match and a couple of players talking to them.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic, and I think that that's one way we promote the game a lot, and you just get young girls interested in it, And, I remember we were playing. I think it was kind of the first time we came in with the girls about 2.5 years ago. Through the summer, we were kind of given a hand with the management that was there at the time, and we had a vital game against Westmeath in the All-Ireland series, and if we'd lost, we'd have been seriously in trouble going down to relegation. And it was a titanic battle against Westmeath, I should say, over in Killarney, and we got through it. We were delighted. The girls are warming down in the corner of the stadium. We opened the gates. I was chatting to young girls and parents and things like that to come down onto to meet the players. And, I think the players got a great buzz out of it, and, I played with Kerry myself, and, when you meet a supporter or a young lad who comes over and shakes your hand and says, "Oh, you're Declan Quill, you play for Kerry," or, "Can I have your autograph?" You go out feeling 100 feet tall, I think that's I think it's a huge thing. I think the girls are very open to it, and, as a management group, and I think a lot of managers might be the same, some people are very insular and they say, "Oh, we can't talk to the supporter, or we'll take our eye off the ball if we mix the supporters, or we do this and that and the other, and we'll keep to ourselves." But, I'd be encouraging girls to meet as many supporters and give as many autographs as they want after matches, and chat with the young girls and boys that come to see them playing, and, like you said, inspire them to go in and join the game and take it up with a particular club, or, keep playing. Maybe if they're half thinking of giving up the game they're playing already, that, I met Louise Never-Hurtig today, and she said, keep playing, and she told me about how to take frees, or, she shook my hand, and it made a big difference to me, and I'm definitely going down to my local club to play. I think that's a huge thing for ladies football. I think it's something that we should drive on and make the players more available, and let people know that the players are available to meet supporters and things like that,
Yeah, because I suppose looking at Tipp, in fairness to Tipp now and the promotion that they've done last year and what they've planned for the next couple of years, like we were talking about before the under-16 county finals last year, and we had the under-16 management with us. I suppose when you're getting to around 15 or 16, you're making that choice of what sport to stay playing, or maybe whether they're going to actually continue with sport or that. But one thing we were actually saying, if they're getting that exposure as well and they realise it's opening up other avenues for them in life as well, like the likes of their working career, their college career, and if they're getting that exposure just before that, it's going to keep them playing football as well.
Definitely, yeah. And look, I think the colleges have really come on board with ladies football over the last number of years as well, and you see bursaries, you see scholarships being given out for inter-county players. I think that's a huge thing. It's been there for a long time for the men, but the colleges, the promotion of the O'Connor Cup and things like that. Even the last couple of nights, they've all the different competitions for the ladies have been on. And they'll be happening over the next couple of weeks. And you go onto Twitter there or any social media, and you see the results, you see clips of games, you see the more exposure, the better. Definitely, and I think over the next couple of years, it's only going to get bigger. We've always heard of fellas falling into the bank or fellas falling into a job because they played football for Kerry or they play football for Dublin, and there's job opportunities there. I think that's going to open a lot for girls over the next number of years, that they will be recognised as inter-county footballers, and they will be recognised as all-stars or All-Ireland winners, and companies would love to hire them because of such feats on the field. And young girls looking at this, seeing I suppose they're the older girls and the inter-county girls achieving things like that, and getting on well and being on media and different things like that, it's only going to inspire them. And I think the more of it we push, and the better it'll be. And look, the different things like Lidl coming on board, and TGK have done a massive job over the last number of years of promoting ladies football and camogie and things like that, and it's only going to get better over the next couple of years. And I think it's going to be just fantastic for young girls to keep an eye on what's happening, and there's going to be huge opportunities there over the next couple of years.
Yeah, well, it augurs well for the future with everything going with the promotion and that. Listen, Declan, thanks for being with us. I'd wish you the best of luck. I'll be telling you a lie, but sure. Look, hopefully we'll talk after the match and we'll review what should hopefully be a good game.
We will. Yeah, thanks, Tomás. And it's great to see yourselves coming on board with Tipp, ladies, and getting exposure for the girls, and getting the stream started and things like that, and previewing games, and it all helps. Like I said, it all helps to promote the promotion of the game, and it's just fantastic. So well done to you and your company, and long may it continue.
Thanks, Dick. Peter, after a lot of hard work on it over the last couple of months, and suppose all kicks off now on Sunday.
Yeah, well, Sunday week we go down to play Kerry and Fitzgerald Stadium. So that's a great occasion to be looking forward to. It's a great game to kick off to start the league for us. Big challenge. The girls last year lost by 15 points to Kerry and Mallow, so we kind of need to make inroads in that particular gap. And we'll know more about ourselves Sunday week. So really looking forward to a great venue for the girls to express themselves and play. But I've no doubt we're facing a massive challenge in Kerry.
Yeah, looking at your own panel, plenty of new faces in, and good to see them in and freshen things up.
Yeah, look, we're probably in a small bit of transition, I suppose. It's well documented. We've a few strong forwards are not with us this year, and we might be slightly weakened in that regard. But it's up to the girls who've come in now to take the opportunity and grab the opportunity. And listen, we have a couple of months' work done. It's only the start really of a process. If we can see improvement from the last challenge match in Kerry, we'll be happy.
Yeah, and Tipp and Kerry are going to be the two obvious favourites to get out of this group. But even on paper, you'd think that, but a game was never won on paper.
No, and look, Laois have an awful lot of players back as well. I think they had 9 players back, and I'm looking at the names and watching the videos. They've pulled back a few very good players into their panel, like Emma Lauder, who's playing with DCU on their first team. So they're going to be a big, big challenge. But look, all we can do is get our own ship in order, I suppose. This is going, as I say, going. And Kerry are going to be a challenge, and Kerry football will never really, look at opposition that much. They'll be confident in what they have about themselves. So it's up to us to challenge Kerry and to execute our game plan and to execute the skills well. If we do that, we might have a chance. If we don't do that, it could be a long afternoon at Fitzgerald Stadium.
Yeah, because we spoke with Declan Quill and speaking with Elaine and Maria, just going back to last year's game, Tipp dominated for the opening quarter and only came away with a point. And when Kerry had their dominance, they came away with 1-6. And I suppose they were a lot more clinical. So it's when you're in them positions, you need to be clinical. Yeah,
and I suppose there's a reason the Premiership why they pay big money for forwards. Look, we've been in our challenge matches, we've been getting around the 10 or 11 scores. We'll probably have to get 16 to be anywhere near Kerry. And that's up to us really to try and work the ball into better scoring positions. Look, the first day out, I think most managers and most teams will be a little bit unsure of themselves because you won't know exactly where you are. But we need to bring energy to the pitch. We need to try and close that 15-point gap. And, I think that's what the mindset we'll have going down there is to put up as big a challenge to Kerry and see where that takes us.
And is it a case of just taking it game by game or setting long-term goals for the year?
Well, you have to go game by game, and I suppose obviously everyone will be looking to get to Croke Park in some shape, whether get there in the league or get there in the championship. But at the moment, we're only looking at a performance in Killarney, and from that, set our goals for the following week against Laois. They're 2 really important games for us and coming very early in the season. So we need to be just right mentally going into Fitzgerald Stadium and to give Kerry a battle, and please God, that's what we'll do.
Yeah, and have you a clean bill of health going down, or how are you fixed?
Well, at the moment, we're probably down 2 or 3 forwards. Like Laura Dillon, we've been hoping would have been part of the forward line. She's out with a long-term shoulder injury. Angela is out with a hamstring. Jean Kelly came into the start of the season, and unfortunately, she did her ankle against Waterford in a challenge match, and Anya Delaney was playing with GCC is out with a groin injury. So look, we have lost players, but I've no doubt with O'Connor Cup and colleges, every other ladies football team across the country is probably down 1 or 2 or 3 at this stage of the year as well. So that's normal enough. I'm looking forward to it. I think the management team are looking forward to it, and it'll give us a nice benchmark as to where we are, and we'll know a lot more on Sunday evening the 13th, I think.
Yeah, and just mentioning the O'Connor Cup there, you've plenty of players involved in that, and they're playing well, so they're obviously going in with confidence at the moment.
Yeah, I think we've 4 playing with the Dublin colleges. I don't think we've anyone UL or we've 3 girls are out playing with UCC. I suppose we'd like to have a few more playing it. A few more girls are playing in the Giles Cup because that's the college that they're in and that's the level they're playing at. The more girls that play at that level, it's better for their development because they're playing with strong players from other counties. So that's something we'll be encouraging going forward. But also we have to manage their load as well because they're training hard during the week, and then we're expecting to train with us the weekend. So at this time of the year, you're managing load, and So it is a challenge in that regard. But look, every single one of the players we've had have been spot on, and we can't ask for any more.
Yeah, and just going back to the game itself, been on a Fitzgerald Stadium, obviously gives the girls a huge boost getting into these huge stadiums.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure, you're going to pitches that are going to be fast. Fitzgerald Stadium's a very wide field. You're playing in a stadium. You got the top class dressing room facilities and all that. That's what they deserve. Sure, the ladies' football is on an equal status with the men's football. The preparation that's been done is of equal status to the men's game, and I think it's great that they get their opportunity to play in those stadiums. But we really shouldn't be talking about that anymore. That should be just taken as the norm, and I think that's the way it's going to be going forward. That's the norm.
Yeah, well, and Peter, best of luck Sunday and best of luck for the course of the year.
Thanks, Tomás. Thank you.
Maria, new year, no expectations, and down to Fitzgerald Stadium on Sunday.
Yeah, new year, new expectations, new team, new management, so a whole new setup for us this year. Down to Kerry now on Sunday for the first battle of the year, but looking forward to it.
Yeah, as you said, a lot of new girls in. How are they settling in?
Yeah, no, really good. We've got some totally new people in, some minors in, and some girls that would have played underage football with a couple of us a few years ago back into the mix again. So it's nice to have those girls back, and they're people we might not have seen, I suppose, a lot for a couple of years, but they're doing really well and they're settling into the pace of inter-county football again. So it'll be good for them to get their first run out now on Sunday and see how they get on.
Yeah, and I suppose integrating them in and being midfield welcome makes an awful difference too, like that.
Yeah, definitely. And in fairness, the girls are good crack. There's a few of them in that they're a good laugh, and the young ones are settling into it nicely. But absolutely. And we'd always make people feel welcome, and we're just delighted to have them on board, really. Yeah,
and the match been on in Fitzgerald Stadium, and you're going to be playing Clare and Semple Stadium as well. Playing them big stadiums in the country, like, it's huge for ladies football in general.
Yeah, no, it's really good for the growth of the game in particular. It's nice to watch football being played on good pitches, especially this time of the year. And there's no doubt that Kerry and Semple Stadium will both be in fantastic shape when we go to take the field. What's also nice, they always have lovely warm dressing rooms, which is a plus as well. But no, even just for the development of the game and supporters going and having a big stadium like that, it's great.
Handy for the likes of us. We were talking to Anna Galvin there before you, and she says all the supporters will be went on to go down on the Saturday night, like, so plenty to look forward to this weekend. But looking at the game, we spoke to you after the Tyrone game last year, and you were saying how during the year losing became a habit, the same as winning. So you'll be looking to hit the ground running this year.
Yeah, look, I'm a firm believer of that momentum is a huge thing, and in order to gain it, you have to get good performances and a couple of wins under your belt as well. We're down to Division 2 this year, so we've got, I suppose, an opportunity to start building up again and try our best to gel a team together and get going again. We're starting out with Kerry, so that definitely won't be an easy battle. We played Kerry in one of our final games last year, and it was a tough day out for us. They've been fantastic footballers and leaders in ladies football for years, and they've got some really quality players. So it's not going to be any easy battle for us. We're just hoping to get out, get together, get a team going and get some bit of a performance out and hopefully we can get over the line.
Yeah, because like as you said, they were playing Kerry last year. When people look at this on paper, it's a Division 1 team coming down to play Division 2, like you coming down from last year. But Kerry have quality all over the field.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And look, Kerry were in the final last year and they were, unlucky not to win that as well. And they were up there with Meath. So, there's no difference between the very top teams in Division 2 and the teams in Division 1 in my eyes. And Kerry have done fantastic things in previous years. I think that they have quality in their backs, their forwards and their midfield. So, we'll have a tough battle with trying to match what they'll bring to the field. But it's starting off. It's the first game in 2022. It's where you want to be, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, I suppose before the restrictions came in a couple of years ago, and Tipp would have fairly good support, and above in Kinnegad last year against Tyrone, that support. So no doubt you'll be hoping a big crowd to be travelling to Killarney on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, up in Kinnegad last year, that was our final game of the year. You know, definitely our toughest game that, you know, backs were to the wall. We really had to get a win that day. And on days like that and on all days, it's really important to hear your friends and your family and have everyone gather in and get behind Tipperary ladies football, because, you know, you jog out, you can hear people roaring and shouting for Tip, and it's just a really nice feeling. It's a lovely feeling for girls that may never have played senior football for Tip before, for them to experience that as well. So we'd hope that as many people that can get out and come down to Kerry, that'll come down and support us.
And of course, your own club be strong supporters of Tip ladies football, and the fact that you're captain, a huge honour for the year. No doubt they'll be travelling in numbers as well.
Yeah, look, the lads in Templemore ladies football are absolutely amazing, and the support that they give both myself, Anya, Nessa, everyone on this squad and all the underage squads down through Tip ladies football is phenomenal. We've got really good structures in place, and they always rally behind Tip ladies. I know Damien Johnson's on the phone 24/7 updating scores and matches and different things like that. He never leaves it down. So they work tirelessly, him and all the other lads. So, you know, I'm very lucky to be part of a club like Templemore. I don't take it for granted, and they always get the young girls out to support us, so hopefully they can do that again this year.
And a nice little subplot coming into the game, yourself and Anna, the two captains. So will you be answering the phone over the next couple of days?
Yeah, no, me and Anna are good friends, and we won't let a league game, Tip versus Kerry, come between that, but it'll be good to see her anyway, on and off the field on Sunday.
Yeah, I wish you the best of luck Sunday, Maria, and wish you the best for the year ahead.
Thanks very much.
Joining us now to continue our build up to the game on Sunday is the Kerry senior football captain, Anna Galvin. Anna, how are things?
Very good now. How are things yourself?
Not too bad now. New season, and I suppose the two so-called big guns of the group up against each other on Sunday.
Yeah, I know it came around very quick now, so did it actually. Very looking forward to it. Everyone is absolutely buzzing to get going, just to get back out onto a pitch. It's gas to be, I suppose last year we were waiting to hear when we'd be starting games, and now the fixture was put in place and we had that to work towards all the time. It was nice to have that target in sight. But yeah, really looking forward now to just getting games going, and good to, I suppose, start off with. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that the other people in the group, are Claire and Leash, aren't to be sniffed at either. But yeah, definitely good. We'll be having to start with our best foot forward against Tipperary for sure.
And bringing Tip down to the big open spaces of Fitzgerald Stadium as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're lucky enough now that we've actually got a bit of experience playing in Fitzgerald Stadium, which is a huge plus for us. We've played a good few of our games there last year, and a few of the club games and the club finals and stuff here in Kerry would have been played there this year gone. So that kind of thing makes a huge difference, and just in terms of familiarity with even the dressing rooms and the size of the place and the atmosphere that's in the stadium. So definitely a bonus for us to be playing there. And it's nice. It's always nice to be put into the main venue, even just for the travelling team. It's important to be brought to the best pitches that are available to us. So it's a good step forward.
Yeah, I suppose your last experience in Fitzgerald Stadium against the Tip team didn't turn out the way you wanted, and someone in Maharlow girls will be up against you on Sunday.
Yeah, I know we came out, Southern Gales came out on the wrong side of that battle, definitely. So there might be a couple of a little bit of fixing to be done there. So we'll be going in with even more, I suppose, just the Southern Gales players in particular might be going in with even more vengeance than in general. But yeah, hopefully we'll come out, Kerry side will come out on top this time. But it's interesting. It'll be an interesting one to see there. Also, I know Tip are always a refit team, and they have a load of runners, a load of very strong runners who can go all day. So it will be ideal for them as well. So it'll be very interesting to see who now fares the best in terms of the width and the size of the pitch.
Yeah, because talking to the two Kennedy sisters and Emma Morrissey, they, even though it was cold, miserable day in November, they enjoyed that experience down there, and they're really looking forward to getting back into that field again. But the fact that games have been played in these big stadiums is a huge thing as well for the profile of ladies football.
100%, yeah. And even in terms of recording the games and broadcasting them out, it always looks better when it's in a proper stadium. Like, that is massive. So when people are tuning in, and then when people are going to the games, you're going to be that little bit more eager to get to a game if it's on in the stadium. It just creates a better atmosphere. And then, yeah, like I said, we're so lucky that we, for the most part, we're playing in Fitzgerald Stadium or Austin Stacks for all our games last year, for our home games, and even the year before. So it has been progressing a lot here in Kerry, thankfully, and there's been big strides made and battles fought to get in here, and delighted that for the most part it seems to be part and parcel of just us playing home games now, and hopefully that'll just stay the norm and keep progressing.
Yeah, I suppose the fact that it's on in Fitzgerald Stadium, good Tipp crowd going down, so be a bit of atmosphere around the streets on Saturday night then as well.
I'd say so, yeah. There actually will be a good crack around. There's always good crack around Killarney on Saturday night anyway, but if a few of them come down for the weekend, they'd certainly be well able to make a solid weekend out of it.
I think you and Declan Quill should be working for Board Fortune, where you're selling Killarney now at the moment.
You should be trying to sell Tralee. That's his spot.
I suppose looking ahead to the game, we spoke to Declan already about it. You had a great league last year, and you probably didn't do yourselves justice in the final. And you'll be wanting to kick on from that from last year, and you've been looking for the last couple of years to try and get up to Division 1.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we won our games, and some of them were very hard fought now, and that's the thing with Division 2. People kind of they don't think as much of it because it is obviously Division 2, but it's very hard to get out of. There's always huge battles, and you can never have any amount of complacency. There was a couple of games that we were, at times we were on tender hooks in some of the games last year, so we were lucky enough we were able to dig them out, got ourselves to the final, and obviously we're very disappointed with our performance on the day. We just didn't really show up. We didn't really, I think we just seemed to be quite tired. I probably different aspects like having to travel from Kerry on the day, and different things like having to travel separately. We weren't able to come as a team. It's a long old journey, and then to get out onto the pitch into Croke Park is obviously pretty overwhelming. And then Meath obviously are well used to Croke Park at this stage. They have played plenty of games there in the last couple of years, obviously winning the All-Ireland Intermediate previous to the league final. So that probably factored in as well a bit. But we just seem to be dead on our feet a little bit, and we all definitely have a chip on our shoulders about how we performed ourselves, and we'll be carrying that into the league now going forward to make sure that we just don't have that feeling in our stomachs after the game again that we've just let ourselves down a bit. And in fairness to Meath, actually, they came out all guns blazing in that game, and there was absolutely no living with them. They were top class.
Yeah, and what Meath went on to achieve later on in the year, that's obviously an inspiration for every other county, because before that, I think, was it 13 or 14 years, Cork and Dublin had won every All-Ireland. So if Meath can do it, there's no stopping a Kerry or a Tipp or any of these counties achieving that kind of success.
Yeah, 100%. And it obviously starts like with a good foot. They built over the course of the year. So they built on what they had won in intermediate. They kept building. So you can see how it can be done. And if we can take inspiration from that and start with a strong foot in the start of the league and keep building and building as well and getting that momentum, there's nothing that says that we can't contest that All-Ireland. We have every belief that we can absolutely be up there with the big hitters in the senior championship. And look, we had a tough old group in senior championship last year anyway, against Galway and Donegal, and a couple of really, really tight battles. And we're probably like we came out bottom of that group and into a relegation battle, which obviously is the way it goes if you lose games, but probably not a fair reflection on how we actually performed in some of those games. There was excellent parts to it. So hopefully we can just take those strong positives and keep going forward, learn from what we didn't do right or where we were falling down, and just, like me, to build that momentum and try get ourselves back into a position that we're contesting a league final first of all, and then hopefully keep going from there.
Yeah, because looking at your championship performances last year, being in a relegation semi-final, I don't think it was a fair reflection because them two games could have went either way, and the Galway game especially, and you were fierce and lucky against Donegal. You looked a better team for 95% of the game.
Yeah, I know. Those 2 goals just were so unfortunate. Just goals before half-time of games last year seemed to be our weak spot, but we're definitely trying to rectify that as well going forward. And yeah, I think, like I said, we were like, you have to win games to be able to progress, and we didn't win games, so that's how we found ourselves in relegation. But like that, they were very tough games that we faced, and we were just unfortunate that we happened to be in a group of 3, the one group of 3 as well, so it meant that we were bottom of the group and went into the relegation. Then of course we played Tipp in that semi-final relegation battle and came out on top. We played some of our best football that day. There was a bit of a switch flicked there that we just were like, God, we can't let ourselves down that much. We can't let, I suppose there's a bit of a legacy obviously in Kerry as well, with an incredible reputation for ladies football throughout the 90s and before that, and I suppose there was a little bit of that weight on us as well, and we had that in the back of our heads definitely, and it kind of drove us over the line for the relegation battle. And then Tipp obviously they managed to fight their way out of the relegation final then, but I'd imagine that they will be looking for a bit of revenge for that game too.
Yeah, because like you did play some of your best football there, but for the opening 10 minutes, as we spoke about before with Declan and with the Tipp girls, for the opening 10 minutes, Tipp had all the play. It could have been 1-5 or 1-6 ahead. You couldn't get out of your own 40, and they only had a point to show. But when you got up the field, in the space of 7 or 8 minutes, you'd 1-6 scored. Possibly could have had maybe 3-7, 3-8. And then you're just talking about goals before half-time that you conceded last year. Niamh Hayes had a chance to bring it back to 3 points. And a great save by the keeper, but came back and Louise Hertig put it into the net. Like, it was game over. And as much as Tipp tried in the second half, you just dug in there and you done enough. Like, so whereas everything went wrong for Tipp last year, I don't think Tipp's performances last year were a true reflection of them. And you're more or less coming up against a new panel on Sunday as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like that game, in fairness, as you said, could have gone. There was a lot of swings and roundabouts in terms of going up and down the pitch, and scores, kind of swing scores being being scored. And Louise Hertig, you'd back her you'd put your house on her to put a goal away if she's given a sniff of it. And we were lucky, I suppose, at the start of the game, because we do, in fairness, have a fair bit of experience. There's a couple of us now who have been playing, and we do have experience of coming out and facing tough battles at the start of games. And I suppose it's just a matter of keeping composure. And a few of the leaders stood up, and Hertig being one of them. But I think we did keep fighting, and it was like that even in the Galway and Donegal games as well, when Galway and Donegal did get on top for periods. We don't have a tendency to drop away altogether and shy away. Like, there will always still be a bit of a fight in us, and we were just lucky enough that we got away with it against Tipp, and we were lucky in a couple of those instances, as you said. Tipp, though, yeah, they also were very unfortunate against us. Like that, we were fortunate, they were unfortunate. And and they were missing, I suppose, they had a tough whole year last year. They lost a lot of players through injury, and big players for them that would have been a massive blow to the whole panel. But also have a very young team and have been playing together for a little while. A couple of young players coming up that are, like the Kennedys, who are really, really building. Like, they came from a young age group, playing very young senior or intermediate football or senior Tipp or whatever, and coming up through, and they're phenomenal players now, and they have that definitely coming through the ranks, and plenty more new players in as well. So it won't be. It's hard to know. It's hard to know what way we'll go. We do also have a lot of new players into the panel, and there's been a bit of changing around there as well. So it is going to be an interesting one. You couldn't even base any of it on last year. I think we were having a tough year. They were having a tough year. Whether much of that will carry into this game coming, I'm not sure. Hopefully both teams will have learned, and it'll just be a brilliant display of football. With us coming out on top.
Well, I think we'll edit that out when it goes on air. But to be honest, now looking at Tipp, and probably had their blue and gold blinkers on all year, expecting them to win, even though they were under pressure, and probably went to Kinnegad to see him play against Tyrone, and more in hope than anything else. But they showed some great character there, and that character is going to be there this year as well. So the match is going to be all to play for.
Yeah, 100%. Like that. Like I said, we've both had tough years, and we've both been tested, and there's going to have been huge character building from last year, that both of us came through relegation battles, and have managed to stay up in senior. And then they obviously are eager to get back up to Division 1. They're after coming down. We've been knocking around Division 2 now for a couple of years, so we're absolutely all guns blazing to get out of Division 2. So definitely is going to be a huge marker for games further down the line in the league. I think both teams are just going to be very, very eager to put down a good marker, and to really show that we both mean business here. And it definitely will make for a good display of football, I think. Hopefully, and with playing in a pitch like Fitzgerald Stadium, and with that atmosphere that we were talking about and everything, with all these combinations, with all this coming together, it should make it for an excellent first game out.
Yeah, and you'll be coming up against an old foe there, and Maria Curley, the two of you are the best of friends.
Yeah, I'm saying it will make for a very interesting coin toss, that's for sure. Maria and I know each other quite a while now. We actually would have been training. So last year when we were in lockdown, we were living together. So we'd have been training together an awful lot, getting each other through each other's runs and everything. So we know each other pretty well now, and it's fairly inside out. But she tends to be hanging around full back, so we might not cross paths too much if we're all both on the pitch. But yeah, it'll be certainly an interesting toss anyway, that's for sure.
She likes to move forward as well. I think she's still living off that point that she scored in Nolan Park a couple of years ago. I think
Maria Curley will hold on to that one till the game's come.
The whole of Templemore were gone viral when she was nominated for Score of the Year.
Well deserved, in fairness to her. If she comes, that girl, in fairness, there's pace on that one, and once she starts going, there's no stopping her.
Yeah, because talking to her a few weeks ago, when we were doing our launch for the streaming with Tipp for the next couple of years, and she was probably the obvious candidate for Tipp to lead him and be made captain.
Yeah, definitely. Maria's top class, and I got to play with her inside University of Limerick for 3 years at least, or if not more. I can't even remember now how many years, but yeah, she is an absolutely excellent teammate. She's a brilliant footballer, first of all, and she always brings a lot of energy and enthusiasm to training, but she has sets herself very high standards and then naturally sets standards around her. So she is an excellent candidate for the role. She's for the role of captain, definitely. And delighted, in fairness now, delighted for her, because she has been fighting and advocating for Tipp ladies and promoting them and promoting their games and really pushing their game forward as well, and advocating for the team and their management and all sorts. So it's certainly a well-deserved appointment.
And I'm sure you wouldn't begrudge if she lifted a bit of silverware later on in the year.
Yeah. I don't know where that much.
You're more than welcome up to Templemore for a night there to celebrate.
We'll see. We'll see who's smiling at the end of the games.
Yeah, well, it makes for a bit of crack and it adds a subplot to the game as well.
Yeah.
Listen, Anna, thanks for being with us, and look forward to the game and meeting you after.
Cheers. Thanks a million. Love to meet you.
And then Kerry Sunday, a huge start for the year in the first round of the league.
Yeah, it is, considering now it's our first league match this year after, I suppose, we wouldn't say a great year between a lot of injuries. But look, we met Kerry against the semi-final in the relegation final. So look, we've nothing really to lose, just to go out and give a battle. And just hopefully we'll get off on a good start. Yeah, because we were talking to Declan Quill and Anna Galvin and Kerry, and I suppose looking back at last year's game, you kind of dominated the match for the first 10 or 12 minutes, but you only came away with a point, and you could have had maybe 1-6. They got on top for the next 10 minutes and came away with 1-6. I suppose it was a case of they were a lot more clinical than what you were on the day. Yeah, I suppose they were very clinical on the day. We were a bit misfortunate, we'd say, losing our free taker at the start of the year, Emma Marcy and Ashton Maloney, due to injury. But then, in fairness, the girls did step up with, say, Angela, Roshan Howard, then Ashton McCarthy came back on the scene as well last year, from being away. And it was great to get her back. Jo, she's so used to taking frees at that level as well from previous years. So I suppose on the day we were kind of probably slacking in a bit of forwards, but hopefully the confidence will strive again this year, because there's such a good positive atmosphere inside the camp as well. Yeah, because we kind of heard last year when Ashley Maloney was injured, a lot of outside people were kind of making a big thing of that. And it's kind of disrespectful to the players that are in there, because somebody else is going to have to step up to the plate there. And they were being criticised from the outside in. I don't think it was pretty fair on who was there. Now, in fairness for Ash Maloney, she's a talented player. She was one of our main forwards, our threat kind of more so of a forward inside there. But again, a lot of the girls did step up. Like Clean O'Dwyer, she stepped up. All the other girls that came back involved, Joey all stepped up. With last year, I think we can't really compare last year to this year or going forward this year. I just think we in generally had a bad year. Nothing seemed to have went right with us, especially with injuries. Yeah, and Emma Morrissey coming back now, we've seen her win the club championship. She's more or less coming back like a new player. She probably has the potential to be the best forward in the country. So Emma Morrissey being back, brilliant to see her in action again. Has been flying it in the last few challenge matches we've been playing and in training as well. So it's great to see her back again, flying form. I'm sure she had a great year at Aherlow as well this year in the county final. Yeah, and the new girls that have come in, they've been well received into the panel and they all seem to be going well in training. Yeah, exactly. We'd say Peter and his team are after bringing in a few more girls who probably were playing county previously before, say, from underage and stuff. So all girls that are involved this year now, they're flying it, especially the new girls that are back. You could say that are back. They're all going really well as well. Yeah, and I suppose looking at the group that you have, Kerry and Tipp are obviously the two that'd be expected to come out, but there's going to be 3 hard games. Just because it's Kerry and Tipp, it doesn't mean that
going to be there. And we've seen Kerry have struggled. We've seen Kerry have struggled to come out of Division 2 over the last couple of years.
Yeah, Division 2 now, it's not an easy group to come out of. It's just as competitive as Division 1 being the top. But I suppose we do have 3 tough enough games between Kerry, I know we've Laois the following week, and Clare. So, you know, it is a hard group we have, you could say, between Clare and Kerry as well. And
the fact that Fitzgerald Stadium, O'Moore Park against Laois and Semple Stadium against Clare, huge for ladies football.
Yeah, it's great just to get that, we'd say, cover, you could say. Usually we wouldn't be playing in stadiums like that, but it's great that they're building on that, the ladies football, they're getting more recognition, and just that it's really driving ladies football on. So yeah, they're looking forward to playing those top stadiums again, we'd say, for each of the clubs, counties.
Yeah, well, all goes well for the year and the coverage of ladies football. Elaine, thanks very much, and hope it's the first of many times that we're talking to you over the year, and wish you the best of luck for the year.
Thanks, Tomás.
So that's the view of the both camps there. Dermot, just listening to Declan Quill there, he's fairly setting his stall out that they're looking for promotion.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, obviously being in Division, they were in Division 2 last year as well. They're just pure egging on to get out of there. Like, you know, they need to get out of there. So I think he's going to do so much work with them to get them out of there.
Yeah, and like they beat Meath last year in the first round, and they just didn't perform in a league final when they meet again.
Yeah, but Meath, they're just, the way they're playing football now is just phenomenal. Like, so you just never know with these teams, though. You know, you play a Stormer in your first game, and then second game, little things can go wrong. Like, this is just what you're going to get at senior inter-county, like, you know, so.
Yeah, because listening to Peter Creedon there as well, like he's saying, like, on paper you'd think the Tipp and Kerry are the strongest in the group, but Laois were after bringing back a fierce amount of players as well, so Laois won't be any soft touch in the second game either.
No, absolutely not. And as you said, like, you know, Tipp and Kerry on paper would be like the strongest, but you just don't know what these teams are coming up with behind you. Like, so again, I think it'll be a very tough group in Division 2 this year.
Yeah, because even if you do get to a semi-final, chances are you're going to play one of the North teams, and should we know the North teams are never too simple, anyway.
No, absolutely not. They never are, and I don't think they ever will. Like, every game that I think we'll be playing, you know, the standard is come up so much in the last few years that you can't expect anything when it comes to these games, because when you're playing teams up the north, and even like down here, like around, it's just, you know, it's just mental. Like, it could go anyway.
Yeah, and just talking to Leanne Kelly there, and talking, obviously, they were in hard luck last year with a lot of injuries, and just saying, a lot of national journalists, but local journalists as well, they kind of focused on the players that were missing. And look, we all know Ashley Maloney is one of the top footballers in the country, but it didn't really show much respect to the players that were there, because these are the girls that have to pick up the mantra when you don't have the Ashley Maloneys and Ashley McCarthy's and so on.
Yeah, I agree with you there, because like although like Aisling is a super footballer, and hopefully like she will come back into the Tipp team soon. The girls that were still there, like, you know, the work rate that they've been doing, you know, behind the scenes. Look, and a few of them have picked up a few injuries along the way as well, and, you know, have gone behind them, like, you know, gone to physio and done everything recovering to, you know, to get back out there again. So look, I think a lot of respect has to go back down to them as well. It's just not shown enough, I don't think.
And like, obviously Declan Quill there talking about Caitlin Kennedy. Like, Caitlin probably has the potential to be the best footballer in the country over the next couple of years.
Yeah, I agree with you. I remember playing with her myself, minor, and she was the girl that everyone looked up to, and she's just come on so much, and like her physical, like she's just so strong. Her skill is just phenomenal. You know, she does everything so calm. I think she could definitely be a big footballer now in the next coming years.
Like, she's a beast of a woman as well. Like, I mean that in the best possible sense. Like that, she's, as you said, her physicality and what she does driving forward, from whether she's in the half back line or whether she's midfield. She's just phenomenal. Like herself and Anna Rose, they're just unbelievable athletes.
Yeah, they're an incredible duo, to be fair to them. And I think in a way it's good that there is, you know, the sisters playing together, because you know, they push each other on the whole time. And Anna Rose, again, you know, she's so strong as well, and their athleticism is just phenomenal. So the way the two of them just work together on the field is incredible, to be honest.
Yeah, and like obviously with no Ashley Maloney, Emma Morrissey is picking up the mantra, but she picked up that bad injury the same night as Ashley Maloney in Thurles last year, but she's come back as a completely new player. I know people are probably sick of me raving about her, but I just love watching her play. Like, and while Caitlin might have the potential to be the best footballer in the country, Emma definitely has the potential to be the best forward in the country.
Yeah, like the way, like when Emma got that injury, it was so unlucky. But the work that she done to get back out onto the field, you know, her recovery, like she worked so hard to get back out onto the field, and when she came back out to the field, it was like she didn't actually have that injury, because she just came back to herself again and was, you know, she was just eating up the forward line inside there. Some of the scores she put off throughout the year was just incredible, like, you know. So, like, yeah, as you said, in a few years, like even the last few years, she is a tremendous forward, and I have no doubt that she'll stay going the way she's going.
Yeah, because our first night back, I think, was the Feather game under lights in Golden, and just the way she turned it on that night was unbelievable. You wouldn't know that she had picked up a bad injury at all.
No.
And like looking at it, just looking at Tipp for the year, I suppose they will be setting targets, but just talking to a few people, looking at what a successful year would it be getting out of Division 2, or possibly looking at an All-Ireland quarter-final or an All-Ireland semi-final, or to be looking for both?
Yeah, I think they could, you know, they'd obviously look setting off small goals first, you know, trying to get out of Division 2 and then work from there. But I can't see why they can't push on this year and, you know, reach that goal.
Yeah, and like there were a lot of new players in, and like Sarah English was involved last year. She came on against Tyrone, had a great game. Her younger sister Clara is still a minor. Like Nessa Towie is in, and like as Maria Curley said, all these players they've just settled in straight away as soon as they come into the panel. You'd often hear a 17 or an 18-year-old being kind of overawed by the setup, but they're in and they're pushing for places as well. And they're putting the older girls under pressure.
Yeah, and that's great to see. Like, you know, for these young girls coming in onto a senior panel, you know, it's a great achievement for them. But to see and hear that they're really pushing on and trying to get a spot on the starting 15 for Tipp, you know, it really just goes to show that they have the right attitude going in there, and that they were definitely the right ones to be brought in there from, you know, as a young age. Like, I know Nessa and Clara are still playing minor. You know, so it's brilliant to see them working so hard.
Yeah, and just looking now, put a crystal ball there, put you in Peter Creedon's position there. We both picked our 15s come championship, and we'll see if there's many differences between the two. Just taking a look at your 15, what you go with?
I've learned Fitzpatrick in goal, Sarah English, Maria Curley and Emma Cronin, Carrie Davey, Laura Morrissey and Lucy Spillane. In the midfield, I have Anna Rose Kennedy and Elaine Kelly. Then I have Caitlin Kennedy, Niamh Hayes and Clean O'Dwyer. And inside forward line, I have Ava O'Shea, Lorraine O'Shea and Emma Morrissey.
And I suppose, is that an orthodox 15, or are you going to be bringing people around the middle of the field, or what way to go?
I don't know. I'd start now. I'd start as, the normal formation, but I'd bring, maybe one back as a sweeper or whatever. Because these girls, their fitness and their speed and their skill is definitely so high again this year that I think there'd be no point in just leaving them in there, starting the 15 positions. Bring these girls around because they have the pace, and just do simple things in the back and get that up. So yeah, no, I definitely bring a few around.
Yeah, what I went to Lauren Fitz in goal, Ellen Moore, Laura Morrissey at fullback, with a difference of opinion at fullback there straight away. Emma Cronin, Elaine Kelly, and Lucy Spillane and Sarah English. I think Sarah English has great potential, and she's very strong in the tackle as well, carrying the ball in. And Anna Rose Kennedy and a few people will be raising eyebrows. Maria Curley at midfield. Nessa Towie, I think Nessa has potential there as well, and she's a great carrier of the ball. Caitlin Kennedy centre forward, Ava O'Shea, Clean O'Dwyer, Lorraine O'Shea, and Emma Morrissey. Now, I'd say within 20 seconds of the match starting, there'll be a lot of changes. I'd bring Maria Curley back around, probably either play in front of Lucy or behind her, and put Caitlin Kennedy out to midfield, and probably bring Clean O'Dwyer out centre forward. Now, I have Ava O'Shea wing forward, but to be honest, I don't know where to play her. I don't know where her best position is. And I said it all year, looking at it from one hole as well. She's a great player to watch, but she's probably a pain in the hole to try and mark her that. No, she's in around you the whole time, and she'd really put opposition defences under pressure. But looking at it there as well, I suppose you'd need Hayes in your team, right?
Yeah, I'd be playing centre or forward.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a tossed up with. I like neither of it's of Laura Dillon, and her versatility is probably going against her there. But she's great, something to bring on. Niamh Hayes, Maureen Murphy. I'd leave Lorraine and Emma isolated inside. We know if two of them get good quality ball, that they'd make hay. And I think maybe 45 or 50 minutes gone in the game, maybe the likes of Clara English would be worth bringing in. Players getting tired. She could get on a lot of break of ball and cause damage because she's got huge pace.
Yeah, and I think her work rate, I was looking at playing with her last year in the minors, and just even playing against her club games, that she'd be an ideal one to bring on because her pace, her work rate is just phenomenal. So if one of them girls, got tired or picked up a little injury coming up to the end, she'd be a brilliant one to bring in.
Yeah, and of course, we haven't mentioned Maria Creedon or Angela McGuigan either. So you've Anya Delaney, Anna Carey, of course. There's plenty of options, and to be honest, we're lucky it's only our fantasy team, and we're not actually Peter Creedon sitting down to pick this team with his selectors.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you there, because even just you calling out some of them names there, whoever the starting 15 will be, the girls not starting will be, they'll be equally as good. So Peter has definitely a very tough job now to be picking the starting 15. I would like to be in his position now coming into the weekend.
Did you pick Kerry Declan on your team?
Yeah, I've Kerry playing wing back.
Yeah, because like Kerry's another one there as well. Like it's a toss-up really, like because Kerry's a phenomenal footballer. Like, do you play her wing back? We've seen Federer were playing her corner back during the year last year as well, and that was probably as a marker. So would Tipp go over as a marker or as an attacking wing back? So it's hard to know what to do. Like, but like she's a great player as well and she's a great option whether to start or bring in off the bench. Like she was used a few times last year during the league and championship as well. So, it's a headache I wouldn't like having now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he'll definitely have his work cut out now, picking a 15, all right. Look, he'll never have a problem of, wondering who to bring in because, like, he has such a strong bench there that, he can easily just roll them in because they're, the 15 are starting would be, and the other 15 girls, like, it's just an incredible strong panel this year.
Another player we never mentioned at all either, Nicole Shelley. Like, what she done with Monaghan, and I suppose what I'd like to see somebody like Nicole Shelley, because I see her with Monaghan probably playing as, I suppose it's the same American football, an old-style quarterback, because if you wing forwards or wing backs bombing up each side, she'd be able to spray a boss from left to right, not bother on.
Yeah. Actually, I forgot about Nicole there. Yeah, God, yeah, Peter will definitely have his work cut out now, picking his 15.
You could have forgot about Nicole intentionally there now, but I feel you were getting over your Monaghan escapades last week.
Yeah. Stop.
But it's a nice headache to have. Like, as we said, like he has a panel of 30 there at the minute, and as he said himself there, the door is always opened, and by the sounds of it, like there's leagues going to be starting in the club maybe the end of February, the start of March, and he's obviously going to be covering a lot of ground, looking at players at them as well. Yeah,
but like even the start of the club games have come on so much, and there is a lot of girls there that have savage potential. So he could easily be bringing in a few more during the leagues and that.
Yeah, well, there's certainly a few headaches coming up for him anyway, but sure, they're headaches that you're glad to take. This, I suppose we'll sit in the fence for Sunday. We probably won't give a prediction on it now, in case we end up with egg in our face or something. Just hope to go.
We'll just sit on the fence.
Yeah, we might do that for the year now until maybe. And unless we get
but it would be great though for Tipp. Oh, stop! Yeah, no, but it definitely would be great for Tipp. Just starting off the league to get that win, and I think getting a first win, it really does. Brings you on then for the next game. So yeah, it'd definitely be lovely enough to see them win the game, but you just never know.
Yeah, and I suppose Maria Curley said it there like this. It's when you get into a winning habit, but then the losing habit, and they had that losing habit last year, and they found it very hard to get out. So they'll be hoping to hit the ground running, and it's vital that they do try and pick up a couple of wins here. And there's only 3 games in the league. Lose 2 in the relegation, you could end up only losing 1, and you could still end up in a relegation dogfight.
Yeah, I know. You definitely, as soon as you enter that field, like it's all guns blazing, and I've no doubt that Tipp will bring that attitude out with them, because they did have a tough year last year, so I think they will go out and give this a very, very good run.
Yeah, and as Maria Curley was saying there as well, calling on plenty of support to get down to Killarney if possible. The game's not been covered, so they obviously want as much support down there as possible. We've seen the thousands that followed them before COVID came in, and hopefully with the restrictions gone, that they can start getting behind them again.
Yeah, definitely. You know, and to see the supporters in a stadium when you go to play an inter-county game, you know, it is such a nice feeling. So yeah, it'd be brilliant to get so much support behind them now for the year.
Yeah, no, well, like Declan Quill made a good point there. Is like obviously they're trying to promote ladies football as much as possible, but he makes a point of when they're playing in Killarney and intra-league that a couple of minutes before the game was over, he's getting them gates opened, getting them young girls and that out onto the field, meeting the players and making sure that the players are so freely available. Like seeing young girls there going and meeting their heroes and want to aspire to them, like so. You mightn't see it in too many other sports, and like we've seen it. Look, we've been lucky enough. We've worked with Tipp ladies football over the last 12 months, and pick up the phone or drop a text to any one of them, and they can't do enough for you. And things like that.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Because, like as I said, things like that. It is great for the youngsters and for to be able to get out. Like so. You'd be hoping that, I know Damien Johnson there in Templemore, he'll be trying to round up a crew to get down a proud day for Templemore with Maria Curley captaining the team.
Yeah, no, it is great. As you said, like for the younger kids around, you know, when they come to these matches and they're seeing their hero playing out on the field and then getting to go after the game, you know, say hello. And all the girls, they're so polite, you know, they've never any problem you going out and, you know, chatting away to them. And I think that's really, really good because that's like encouraging the younger kids saying like, oh, I had a great chat now. Just say Maria Curley as the captain, like, oh, I went out and I was speaking to the Tipp senior captain. You know, it definitely is great. And you could, like, I remember even seeing a few girls, even just at home, my local club, coming to their, like, I trained the under 16, under 8, and they're coming out in the Tipp ladies jerseys. Like, you know, it's just the little things like that, you know, and they love playing the sport now. And I think to see this ladies football growing so much, it's tremendous. Like, and hopefully it'll stay going the way it's going.
Yeah, because we've seen it in Mullinahone and what inspiration it's given to them, and like just talking to them, they're getting huge numbers training underage, and we see that they're putting in 2 teams this year, so that success drives success. And like if parents get out and bring their kids to these matches and they know they're going to beat the players, and then them kids are going to want to go and join their local club. Like as I said to Declan Quill there when he was mentioning, like we were below Mallow last year and I brought a couple of nieces down, and in fairness, like Tipp were after being beaten by 15 points and it was muck and lash and rain and everything. But the players still made time for the girls and that. Like my 2 nieces could not believe that they were talking to the Tipperary players. After they said if they were at a hurling match, that wouldn't happen. And all they wanted to do was go home and play football.
Yeah, no, it's such a nice feeling. Like, but like not even just for younger girls, like older girls, like myself, like I'd still look up to these girls. You know, some are the same age as me, but just seeing them being so successful and, you know, getting onto these teams, and it's incredible. Like, yeah,
well, sure. Hopefully we can get a crowd there, and as we said, we've Fitzgerald Stadium, O'Moore Park, and Semple Stadium. So Tipp are going to be playing 3 of the top fields in the country in the league, and hopefully it'll be a league that'll finish in Croke Park. That's all for this week. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and keep up to date, and check us out on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. CK Streaming is the only place that you can see Tipperary ladies football for the next 3 years. So make sure to tune in, and thanks Rob, been with us, and we'll talk to you again next week.